It's another defeat this time to Ipswich. GS says, so bored of our fullbacks. Pack has to start the next game. Really keen to get your views on that. Welcome back to another 20 minutes of Pompey chat. This week we're talking about, does Pack now have to start in our double fixtures this week against Watford and the Boro? Plus, why are the midweek fixtures looking so unfair for Pompey? We'll talk about that in a second. Should the playoffs go to 8th spot? The EFL want it to. And we're starting our Pompey A to Z this week. Who or what should get in to the letter A? We've had a few suggestions from AI. There is one of them. Can you beat Jamie? We'll get the panel's view on all of that in a second. Lots to get through then. We've got Sasha, Phil, Jake and Sam in place. Thank you, of course, very much for watching. Let us know in the comments who gets into your A to Z a little bit later on. Right then, Sasha, 2 defeats in a row now. How worried are you getting with what you've been watching?
I think the performances have definitely taken a hit, but I think for the season as a whole, it's a bit too early to start worrying.
Bill, are you worried?
I would say I agree with Sasha. I saw quite a bit of head loss last night on social media, as usually happens. But I'm not panicking yet. That's all I'll say.
Okay,
things will get better.
Now, we're recording this, of course, before the Watford game, so obviously we're hoping by that point. Because I tell you what, Jake, they are awful. I know they won at the weekend, but our whole fans saying they are a poor side. So hopefully it's 3 points in the bag. From then, Wrestling Store Joe says, poor decisions yet again by Mousinho. Squad depth is lacking massively. No striker presence either. It's going to be a long old season, Jake. Do you agree?
Yeah, especially if the injury list keeps growing. I think that's what's causing us some problems, especially with the squad depth. Obviously, when you lose Lang and Murphy, 2 of your better players, any team I think would struggle with 2 of their better players out. Plus Shaughnessy at the back and just all over the pitch again, same as last year. We just seem to be picking up injuries.
Right, cheers for that, Jake. Controversial view time now, Sam. Ben says, I'm going to say it time and time again, but I'm really not sure what Bishop offers us. If he's your focal point, he hardly wins a header. He can't run in behind. He's got no pace. He's not a natural finisher. The list goes on. He's going to get the odd goal, but if it's not put directly on him, he's not doing anything for us. Discuss.
I think that's a little harsh. He is doing quite a bit up the top of the field and trying to make those runs. I do agree with one point on that tweet, though, that he isn't getting the service. And like Jake said, with Murphy and Lang out, it's hard for him to get that service there. With him being captain as well, I just think maybe that's another added responsibility on his plate. I mean, but yeah, I think that tweet's a little harsh, but yeah, he hasn't been on it this season, but I think that's mainly due to lack of service and nothing in his fault.
Sasha, do you agree with Sam or the tweet?
I agree with Sam. Yeah, Bishop's a brilliant player. We know how good he is. You know, you can take the numbers into consideration, but that's not what he's about. He is our goal scorer. He's the one that we do rely on scoring goals, but he does so much more for us as a team, off the ball especially. Attacking Bishop for anything is stupid. We've learned for the past few seasons, every time we started attacking him, it just all goes down the loo. It's the wrong thing to do. It's not his fault. It's not his fault at all.
Cheers for that. Sasha, Phil Lewis says Pat was the best player on the pitch when he came on. That just shows how much we miss him and his ability. However, this attack without Lang and Murphy simply isn't good enough at this level. And we're back to that discussion we had a couple of weeks ago of no Murphy, no party.
The longer it goes on, it does sort of look like that way. But Pack was good. Yeah, absolutely. Give him credit. He got a lot of stick last season, remember, and when he was playing in centre defence when he shouldn't be, and I think he showed what he was about yesterday. His passing range completely changed that game or attacking play was completely changed when he came on yesterday. But yeah, he'll be pushing for a start this week, I think, on Wednesday.
Yeah. Jake, does Mousinho hold any responsibility for the way the last 2 games have gone?
Maybe a little bit with the weekend's game because I think the team selection was wrong. Bringing Yang in, Kosnovsky playing him sort of a little bit out of position. So I think he's probably got to take a little bit of responsibility there. It reminded me of our performances, our away performances last season. We just weren't really ever in the game. So yeah, he's picked the team, so he's got to take some sort of responsibility for sure.
Um, Pompey Twitter, Sam, has always been one of quite calm and reasonable heads. I have noticed a bit of a turn over the weekend in that we're seeing lots of more people not calling out Mousinho as such, but saying, this isn't good enough. I mean, we had this one here, Rodini saying 2 down and bring on 2 donkeys. There were other similar kind of tweets saying he doesn't know his best team. The owners have let him down. Are you getting the same sense of maybe Pompey fans are losing it a little bit with what they're seeing, which is fair enough given the last 2 results?
I think that's just Pompey fans in general. We tend to just lose our head space a little bit once things start to go not our way. I think what compares it to last season is that last season we had a really difficult start and we gradually grew better over the season, whereas at the start of this season we had some really good results, and now we're having that lull, and injuries have definitely hindered us quite a bit. The one thing I do agree with on the Twitter is squad depth. I think our squad depth is quite poor, and we didn't learn from that last season when it came to injuries. But again, Pompey fans in general tend to overreact quite a bit. Once we start winning again, the mood on Twitter or Facebook or whatever will definitely change again. So,
okay. As I said, we're recording this, Sasha, before the Watford game. Is this becoming a must-win given looking at the table?
To call it a must-win at this stage of the season, I don't think that's quite accurate. I think every game's a must-win for a team that aren't guaranteed survival. We're not a team that are guaranteed to stay up or to go up or whatever, so every game's a must-win. That pressure shouldn't be put on the players just yet, but they do need to bounce back and get a result at home because, losing the last 2 games and one of them being at home it's not good enough.
Yeah, okay. In midweek fixtures then, as we've mentioned, kick-off then, Phil, this week. I mean, Pompey's... it's difficult to assess whether or not it's a fair calendar for Pompey. I mean, it's supposed to be fair. We understand the algorithm is designed that way so that there's not as much travelling midweek, but it's difficult to do with obviously where you are situated. But then when we look at it, we've got, of the 9 midweek fixtures, you play Coventry home and away, Swansea home and away, Wrexham home and away, and Watford home and away. I mean, when you look at that, is that as fair as it possibly could be given 2 trips to Wales midweek?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to moan about their fixtures when things aren't going well, I suppose. But yeah, it is what it is. We got on with it. That's what we dealt with. There's no point moaning about it. We just play the games. We turn up, hopefully, get a few points. That's all we can do.
Will you be heading to Swansea midweek, Sasha, then, on a cold Wednesday, Tuesday night when it arrives? Yeah.
That's not the one I'm worried about. I did Cardiff away on a Tuesday last time. I just saw Sheffield United and I'm terrified for that. I'm going to get home at like 3 in the morning.
Well, they've got to come to you as well. That's fair enough, isn't it? Right, let's also switch gears a little bit here then, Jake. The EFL this week have announced that they're looking to expand the number of playoff positions just to include positions 7 and 8. First of all, is this good for Pompey in the long run, and is it good for football?
We just need to concentrate on survival. I think the playoffs, whether they're in 6th or 8th, are out of our reach, if I'm completely honest. I don't think it's good for football. I think if you're finishing 8th, you can be like 20 points behind a team that finished 3rd with the same chance almost as going up, because everyone knows the playoffs is a lottery. I like the playoffs as they are now. I think 3rd to 6th is good. It adds a little bit of excitement. It's probably just a money-making scheme from the Football League, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think leave it as is.
Cheers, Jake. I mean, Sam, their argument is that there's too many dead rubber games at the end of the season, so putting it to 8th means that, if you were sat in 12th with 3 games to go, you could reasonably squeak into that. Is that a valid reason to look at this, or is it nonsense?
I think it's nonsense. Clearly, they didn't watch the playoffs from last season, which were very exciting, in my opinion. You had that run from Coventry, and then you had other teams in there as well. And like Jake says, it's a money-making scheme, and they're just trying to freshen things up. I mean, there's a time and a place for changing stuff, but I mean, if things work out the way that they do, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the final for the championship playoffs like the most lucrative game in all of football or something like that? So why would they change it if it's not broken? But yeah, it's just a money making scheme.
Okay, yeah, because you feasibly could land in 8th and go to the Premier League, couldn't you? And, well, if you finish 30 points off the leaders, what does that say about your chances of staying up there? Right, thanks so much, all of you, for that. Now, all of you watching can join in with this next part, and please help us out in the comments here, because we are starting the A to Z of Pompey, looking back at the history and all the people and all the things that have affected this wonderful club's history. And we're obviously starting with the letter A. So we asked AI to have a look at this for us, Sasha, and they suggested that the most important person whose surname begins with A in Pompey's history was this fella here. So, the question to all of you: have they got it right? Can you think of anyone better, Sasha?
Yeah, that's the first name that popped into my head. The second name, Adam Webster, but that's just because I'm younger. I didn't really get to see Ashdown play much at all. Actually, I didn't watch him play a single game for us. But
okay.
Yeah, so for me it'd be Adam Webster. But yeah.
All right. It can be a building. It can be a famous fan. It can be an owner. It can be anything. Phil, come on. Webster would need to be W as well, so we have to break the rules on this one.
I was going to say for me, it wasn't a player, but I'm going to go double A. First A is Atmosphere, the second A is AC Milan. 2008 UEFA League. Anybody that wants to see what an atmosphere should be like, go and watch that video back, because it was wall-to-wall noise for 90 minutes. Great. It was a good game of football as well. We so nearly did it, but when you get Ronaldinho coming on the pitch to take a free kick, you know what's going to happen. It's almost as inevitable as Barry Bannon last week. But no, that was a great game. Atmosphere, top class.
Yeah. Okay. I've almost forgotten about that. Jay, I'm not sure you'll beat that.
I'm going to sound. I genuinely before Phil started speaking, I was going to say AC Milan and Atmosphere. I was lucky enough to be at that AC Milan game, and it was unbelievable. But I will give an honorary shout out to Andy Orford, who's was a centre back when I first started watching Pompey back in '92, and he's in the Pompey Hall of Fame, so he's got to have a shout out.
Okay, brilliant. Sam?
I got 2. I got a player, and it's John Aloisi, and he was one of my favourite players growing up. And then I got away win at Old Trafford, which wasn't very easy to do back in the day. But it was one of my last games that I went to before I moved over to Canada, and it was on our FA Cup run where Suleiman Tari scored the penalty against Rio Ferdinand, who was in goal for that penalty. So, yeah, either John Aloisi or away win at Old Trafford. But I agree with Jake and Phil. Atmosphere and AC Milan is also a great shout-out.
Okay. I think that needs to go into our A to Z then. Thank you very much. Of course, if they've forgotten anything, let us know in the comments. I want to throw one more in there. Actually, I want to put the word away fans in, because I think Pompey, as we've said many, many times on here, have definitely got one of the best set of away fans across the country, not just in the Championship. So we could sneak that one in possibly as well. But yeah. AC Milan it is. Can you beat that? Also help them out for next week, because we're going on to letter B for that. So join us for that potential squabble next week. Right, score predictions then, please. Phil, you will beat Watford by how many?
1-0.
Jake?
2-0 Pompey.
Sam?
2-1 Pompey.
Sasha?
1-0.
Okay. And does anybody think you can beat Boro?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beat Leeds last season.
Just like we
why
did
not?
last year.
No.
Okay. Right. We will also, of course, find out in 7 days. Join us next week as we review both of those two games and look ahead to our next entry at the A to Z. Hope you're doing well. Have a great week, everybody. Double header this week at Fratton Park. See you then. Have a good one.